Five-ish fangirls, I love you, and I'm one of the five-ish. In fact, I'm the biggest one of the five-ish. I am the Sixth Doctor Colin Baker, and I wish you all well. Have fun.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode 373 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. You mean to tell me my housekeeper has made a Faustian pact with a pixie from outer space? When she gets back, she's fired. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like a do from the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Belvedere.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hopefully everyone is having a safe Memorial Day weekend. Can't say it's been the case around here, but thankfully everyone's okay. So we're not going to complain too much. So,
and for those of you who are watching Stranger Things, are you okay?
Yeah. I have only watched one episode because that's all I could handle because I was not okay.
I have 2 episodes left. I'm hanging on.
It's like, if this is the way it's going to go, yeah, I'm going to need a minute.
Yeah, I've seen 2 episodes and but it's been a while. Need to get used to this show again.
Yeah, I mean, not quite Infinity War Endgame therapy meeting, but close.
Mm-hmm. So, well, eventually I will I'll finish the episodes before the rest of them drop. So so all right, well, we need to do the news, which first up, we knew this was coming. We were talking about it at the end because it dropped as we were finishing it up last week.
As we were wrapping,
yeah, we did get that Thor Love and Thunder trailer, and
holy cow, does it look good?
Oh, well, yes, it does look really good. It's like, oh yes, Taika Waititi, I love you.
But it's the breath of fresh air we need.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what exactly it was that Chris Hemsworth meant when he said it was going to blow our minds. Was it the interactions between Valkyrie and Jane? Was it the Jane being a badass
like too hard
you, or was it seeing Thor's naked butt? Well, pixelated naked butt.
Naked butt.
Oh my. So
and I think half of the female fan base is doing the yes from Thor Ragnarok when Thor sees Hulk for the
yeah, really. No kidding. So, oh my.
And then we had Star Wars Celebration and man, oh
yeah,
man,
then we had like Star Wars Christmas. It was like fandom Christmas Star Wars version for all the people that braved Anaheim over the weekend. Which my boss, I don't know if this was a spur of how far ahead they had planned this, but she happened to be in Disneyland late last week. Wow. And I have no idea if she actually knew that Star Wars Celebration was happening at the same time. So I'll have to ask when we are all back in the office together. So I mean, it looks like they had fun. They were there a few days before Celebration started, so it was before most of the madness, but still I was like, you do know that there's a big Star Wars convention going on this weekend that you're potentially overlapping, right? So
Maybe
Yeah.
that. I'm not
Yeah.
telling.
Yeah, no, but I know some people that were there for Celebration, and it looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
So, and the next one is already on the calendar for all the Star Wars fans out there, this time in Europe, I believe in London, I think is when the next
I
one
think
is.
so.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and in
that's what I
July,
saw.
I think.
Yep. So, but yeah, we got a little bit of non-Star Wars related, just because there was some overlap, because like Harrison Ford,
Mhm.
wanted to show up because of all the Star Wars stuff, and he's like, oh, by the way, here's the teaser image for the next Indiana Jones movie.
They've been teasing for years now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, so that's due out next year. But most of it is Star Wars, or at least someone that's been involved in Star Wars related. So
Mhm. Yes.
we've gotten obviously a lot of stuff was shown there that's not been released to the public, at least not
Right.
yet.
But
They
it
are-
will be.
yeah, so they obviously we're talking about a lot of the shows that are coming to Disney Plus, including Ahsoka, which is actually currently in production. But they have teased that we are going to see several of our friends from Star Wars Rebels, if you watch the Rebel series, including Sabine, Chopper, and Hera. And they did not confirm, but people think that we may see a live action version of Ezra as well.
That'd be
So
exciting.
I'm
Would
kind of
doubt
excited
it.
for live action Chopper though, because I love Chopper.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm excited for all of them.
Any of the droids in live action that are animated is worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they do such a good job giving all the different droids personalities. And
And
Chopper's no
Chopper
exception.
has a strong personality. I love Chopper.
Yes.
Him and R2D2 could be lost relatives.
Yes. Probably. Yeah. If anything, Chopper does not have a bad motivator, at least not in the non-functional type of way. If anything, his motivator is at the other end of the spectrum, where he's very motivated.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's dial that back a bit.
Yes.
You don't need to be rolling for initiative every single time we have to do an interaction.
Exactly.
Right?
So they've also announced a new series called Star Wars Skeleton Crew,
Which looks good.
that is going to star Jude Law.
Ooh, exciting. I like Jude Law so.
This is being brought to us by John Watts and Christopher Ford, the guys behind Spider-Man No Way Home. So we know it's in good hands.
Yes.
But it's going to follow a group of 10-year-old kids from a small planet who get lost in that galaxy far, far away and must try to find their way home. And this will take place after Return of the Jedi and fit within the same timeline as The Mandalorian and Ahsoka.
Cool.
And
And
speaking of The
welcome
Mandalorian-
to Star Wars fandom.
Yep.
Right?
Hopefully it's a little better than the Harry Potter.
I would think so.
Yeah.
If Spider-Man No Way Home is any indication, I think we're good.
Mhm.
Yeah. And speaking of The Mandalorian, happy birthday to me. Mandalorian season 3 coming this February.
Yes.
Complete with a appearance of a certain foundling child during the panel. I should share that video to our Facebook ad, not just inside the chat, but I was like watching Jon Favreau with little Grogu, and I'm like, oh, you're so cute.
A precious little cinnamon roll.
Mhm. It's just so wild because it's like, oh, he's so cute, and then also like the like, behind the scenes nerd that I am, I'm like, That is an amazing piece of puppetry.
Right?
Yes.
Especially when they
Yeah.
had him sit down. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, he's like articulated. He could stand up and sit down on his own. So this is not like Kermit the Frog puppetry. This is like crazy mechanical. I'm
Who's
surely
pulling
remote
the
controlled.
strings?
Yeah. I'm sure he's like fully remote controlled by somebody backstage. But I've seen puppets where they have to have like you're used to like as a kid having like an RC car and you maybe have like two controls, one for forwards, backwards, one to turn left and right. And you get into stuff like this where it's like, dozens of little switches and things to make all the things work. So it's
Like a whole mixing board almost.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's really, really wild. So, but that's what makes him so cute is because he's so believable. Yep. All right. They announced Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. It's going to be an animated anthology of shorts that's going to be coming this fall on Disney Plus that will tell stories of characters like Ahsoka and Count Dooku. But we'll also have Qui-Gon Jinn with Liam Neeson doing the voice.
Woot.
Yep.
Welcome back, Liam.
Yep.
Right?
And then we are getting we've had a couple of Lego Star Wars related things throughout the years. So on August 5th on Disney Plus, we are getting Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, where we will see Rose, Rey, Finn, Poe, and Chewbacca taking a vacation after defeating Emperor Palpatine. So this is post Rise of Skywalker.
What could possibly go wrong with
Exactly. They will
this?
quickly learn that other Star Wars characters who have attempted to take a peaceful vacation have not had very good luck. So alongside characters that we expect to see, we are getting a new character called Vic Van Gogh, which makes me think of Van Gogh. I have no idea if that's supposed to be a play on that or not. Voiced by Weird Al. So we're bringing Weird Al into the Star Wars universe in Lego form.
Officially into the. I mean, sure, he did the.
I mean, he's already part of the
Phantom
My
Menace.
Little Pony universe. So
Right.
yeah.
Yes. I mean, he did the Saga Begins, so I mean, he is considered in the Star Wars family. With
yeah, but
that,
he's not been a character though.
Character,
He's just been
yes.
himself.
So this cements it
Why
even
don't we
more.
get
Yep.
They have like an Easter egg of that song like playing somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
If his character does not pick up an accordion at some point during this cartoon, somebody has failed. That's all I'm
Right?
saying.
Yeah. Or if you're thinking that it's an homage to Vincent Van Gogh, if there isn't a painting of some sort of space accordion.
Yes.
Ooh.
Something like that.
An exploding accordion.
I mean,
Kinda like
even
the Starry Night.
his pony on My Little Pony, whose name was Cheese Sandwich, had the curly hair, but his cutie mark was like a grilled cheese sandwich where it's cut diagonally. So you had the two triangles pulled apart with the cheese kind of stretching and stringing in between. But when he'd move around and dance, it would flex, so it kind of looked like an accordion. So
cool.
So I guess we'll find out on August 5th.
Yeah.
This last bit of news, oh my goodness, this one had me bouncing up and down.
Please don't take away my geek card. I've never seen Willow. But it's on Disney Plus now, so I can watch it, which is good. But yeah, we've got our first look at the Willow sequel.
It's a little slow moving at first, but then it does pick up.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Willow is coming to Disney Plus around Thanksgiving, so end of November. So we got a bit of time to wait on that, but that's okay. It's not like we don't have other stuff to watch
Right.
in between now and then, and that also gives you plenty of time to actually watch Willow proper.
Mhm.
So
Add that to the list. Make you watch it sooner.
yep,
Yeah.
it's one of those where it's like I know of it,
Yeah.
I've just
Mhm.
never gotten around to it, and now
I have a few movies like that.
I've got motivation, and it's on Disney Plus, so it's easily accessible,
Mhm.
which is good. So the one thing I love about this is he's in so much stuff. He's kind of like Doug Jones, where he's in everything, but you don't know it because you never see his face, even in Harry Potter.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got
Yes.
even as like Professor Flitwick, they give him a little mustache and stuff. So to see Warwick Davis essentially look like himself
Yes.
is always a good thing.
Yes.
So
Also, another Star Wars show that we forgot to mention. They had a trailer for season 2 of The Bad Batch, which comes out this fall.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That is true. And then
We're not holding for new Star Wars stuff. this
no,
year.
not really. Not really at all. And then kind of I guess the Lego is coming soonest. But we'll bookend the month of August with Andor.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to Disney Plus on August 31st. So
And
we get
that
to see
trailer looked really good too.
Cassian
It
Andor post Rogue One. So we get it. I think it'd be kind of cool because it'll give us a chance to see the kind of it's at least what it appears to be to me, some of the rebellion, because we've got oh crap, I can't think of her name now. The tall skinny lady with the when they get the Death Star plans.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
We're so much
The
fun.
gal that plays her now is a really good doppelganger for the gal that played her in the original Star
Mon
Wars
Mothma?
movies.
The gal who played Mon Mothma?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get to see some of her, and obviously she's part of the rebellion. But I think it also kind of looks like we're gonna see kind of like on the ground kind of civilian aftermath of Rogue One, and I'm assuming the events of A New Hope or post episode New Hope. I guess I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. Obviously, it's post Rogue One, but there's all that time at the end of Rogue One until they blow up the Death Star that shit can be happening. So, it's not like all the rebellion was doing all the work and people were just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. So, I think it'll be kind of fun to see what was going on outside of the characters we already know.
Yeah.
So, considering, pretty much the entire cast of characters in Rogue One is dead. So,
Yeah, I'm curious about this. I'm like,
so it's like, what happened to what was left of the Rogue crew? So,
give me a good excuse.
Yes,
I haven't
it's like
watched Rogue One in a while, so give me a good excuse to watch it again.
yeah.
Before this.
So, yay. Star Wars / Lucasfilm fandom Christmas.
Yes.
All right, moving on to feedback. Just a little bit of feedback from Shalane. She says that she doesn't have much to say about She-Hulk, but she thinks it looks really awesome and funny. She says, like Kermit the Frog would say, it's not easy being green. True. She says lots of fun to have Bruce Banner as her mentor in the series. And since that trailer was originally released, Disney Plus has since released a second trailer, which is exactly the first, as far as the clips and everything, but with better CGI. So they've already been like, look, we can do better. We were in a rush. Stuff got leaked. I'm assuming.
Yep.
That I don't think they'll ever confirm that that's why we got the trailer that we got, because of the release date leak or not, but I'm going with that assumption.
Same.
Yeah. And then she asked if we've seen this fan art picture of the OG Avengers and the new Avengers, which I've shared in our chat, but I can share on our Facebook page too. So, but it's kind of cool looking for there's some very talented fans out there when it comes to art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Very.
I've seen a meme of it, but this is the first time I've seen the full thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is cool. It's very cool. So, well, thank you, Shalane,
Yes.
for your feedback. So, all right, moving, on to, I accidentally close a tab. That's okay. Moving on to this week's main topic, which is Brittany's Big Finish pick, because her birthday is coming up.
Yes.
Oh, and Brittany picked a 6th Doctor and Evelyn story, which I didn't even have to like guilt her into doing it. She did it all on her own.
Yes.
I always appreciate it though. This one's a good one too though.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, we say that pretty much with every Big Finish, because Big Finish is just awesome to begin with. But this is again another early in the Big Finish run, because this is like what is it, like what number is it? It's early on. It's like in the first. It's number 9.
I know it was like under 20, but I couldn't remember. So it was under 10 technically.
Yeah, it's number 9. So it's early on in the run. But this one is really fun because this has well, depending on who you want to argue with, this either is or isn't canon. The first adventure of the 6th Doctor and the Brigadier together. It depends on where you stand with Dimensions in Time. I personally think Dimensions in Time is canon. So to me, this is the second time. And I just like to think that everything in Dimensions of Time was one of those wibbly wobbly timey-wimey things, not like the 50th anniversary, where once the time stream straightened out, they all forgot. So this is why the Doctor and the Brigadier are acting like this is the first version, the first interaction with this particular incarnation. So,
and I love how casual the Brig is about it. I'm like, yep, I think I have an idea who you are.
It was like if it wasn't the abrupt appearance, the warm welcome, the strange outfit tells me everything I need to know.
Everything you need to know. And I can guess there's a police box parked out here somewhere.
Yep.
Yep. So, but is this the Brigadier's first appearance in Big Finish completely?
I think so.
I think it is.
Okay.
Because I know he had a. I know he was in an Eighth Doctor one, but I think that came out later.
Okay.
And I can't remember. I don't remember now off the top of my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Because he only, he only appears in the monthly range 3 times. This, Minuet in Hell, and in Zagreus, because everybody's in Zagreus.
Yeah.
And then like Mr. Gray is like Nicholas Courtney voiced something else too, right?
Yeah, because it's the Brigadier, but it's not the actual Brigadier. It's the TARDIS using the Brigadier's image.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like I remember
We'll do
seeing the
Zagreus
TARDIS.
one of these days, but you got to wrap your head. It's a little hard to wrap your head around.
It's a long one, but it's a good one because I can't remember if it's if the Zagreus is part of the Davros and the Master, if that's like a trilogy, if they're all interconnected together, because the cover designs are almost similar.
Might have been. I think that was so because I think if I remember, it's like Zagreus was the 50th Big Finish story.
That could be.
Yeah, it was their 50th release, and it was also released for Doctor Who's 40th anniversary.
Yes, that's right.
2003. So, because I remember listening to Zagreus and then listening to the audio interviews with some of the cast, and it was so funny. And I don't remember who it was. I don't know if I remember if it was like Nicola Bryant or somebody like that. That was like, oh, it's so great to celebrate Doctor Who, because it's been 40 years since Doctor Who began, and to have all these characters together, because it was the first time they did like a big story with that many doctors and stuff together. Since the show had been on, and it's like, the show's been off for a while, and I'm like, well, you didn't know then it'd be back in 2 years,
right?
So we talked about Zagreus a little bit when we did like our Doctor Who anniversary special episode, where we talk about the different anniversaries, things that Doctor Who has tried to, has done throughout now almost, it'll be 60 years next year.
My goodness.
Yep.
It means it's been 10 years since Day of the Doctor. Whew.
Yep.
Does not feel like it's been 10 years.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, but we didn't know that was going to be a thing when they were doing Big Finish. At this point, it's 2000. It's the year 2000 when they, are doing this, and unfortunately, Nicholas Courtney would only be with us for another 11 years. Passed away in 2011. So it's a shame he didn't get to do more Big Finish. Especially now that Unit has their own series. But thankfully
I would have loved
the character of Kate to help carry that along.
Yes.
I would have loved to see him and Wilf trade some notes. That would have been interesting.
War veterans.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Make him an honorary Unit agent.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one I think the title is a little misleading, because it kind of makes you sound like maybe it's going to be like a ghost story,
right? Yeah, like some actual more ghostly stories we've had throughout Chains of Midnight, looking at you.
Yeah, So, I mean, it gets into like some Celtic-ish mythology, kind of, with the imps, but not really. Because you hear the word specter, and I guess if you're a certain mind, your mind goes to, well, that's another term for ghosts or spirits, or your mind goes to James Bond, which is something completely different.
More recent for us, we can think of Monk.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. If you're a Marvel fan, that's true. But there really isn't that. It's more like just there are these people doing these archaeological expedition at this moor, which I think is really just a fancy word for swamp.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much swampy area.
It's a fancier swamp. I'm an American. I'm sorry. Things are swamps. So these people doing like this archaeological expedition kind of in the area of the swamp, and there's this kind of generational conflict between like the older traditional archaeologists, as they were called, as the younger guy calls them, the trowel bangers.
Yeah.
And then the newer guy that's like computers, because this is set in the year 2000 actually, so it's set in the year that it was recorded. So this is very modern for Doctor Who at the time. So talking about being on the internet and using computers and that sort of thing. But it turns out there's something more nefarious going on. And then it turns out that the nefarious thing never had to happen in the first place.
Right.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, we get the Brigadier and Evelyn really kind of doing what they do best. So, because I don't know timeline wise, but I imagine that the Brigadier and Evelyn are closer in age.
Yes, that's what I was. And is it just me, or do you think that Evelyn had just a teeny tiny crush on the Brig?
I don't think so.
I didn't get that feeling, but
yeah,
okay,
maybe.
I mean, just from the way that she had asked that one question, if he was, or he did something with if it was a dessert or something, that's kind of where I got that little.
No, I think she was just.
I could have been reading too much into it.
Yeah, I think you're reading too much into it. So yeah, at the end when she's asking about the chocolate pudding.
Yes.
Status of the pub. No, Evelyn just really loves chocolate.
I was gonna say that's more specifically as chocolate.
Yeah, because if somebody was going to take me to a traditional, a seemingly traditional Irish pub, I would be asking what the chips situation is. So yeah, because I'm more Rose Tyler when it comes to those things. I want chips. But as we've learned, Evelyn really, really loves chocolate. So yes. I mean, she has her, the unfortunate incident with the backpacker who ends up getting mauled. And she's like, hot chocolate, please. So, like, that's Evelyn for you. So,
yeah.
I can make a joke like she'd be friends with Remus from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yes.
She would be handy to have around if there's any Dementors around.
Exactly.
If anything can be fixed, it can be fixed with some chocolate.
Yeah, if it works for Evelyn Smythe, why not? So, but I mean, Evelyn, she definitely seemed to have she definitely seems to take on a like maternal affection for the young folk, as
Yeah.
we've seen or heard in some of our others. So when, you know, this young scientist, until we find out that he's you know, working for the bad guy, was it Ludgate?
Yes.
That
Yeah,
Ludgate.
yeah,
sounds right.
she seems to take on a bit of maternal affection for him, because she's like, oh, you remind me of one of my students, he's about your age. You know, that sort of thing. So but she never really acts her age, which is one of the things I love about Evelyn. She's, you know, yeah, she is an older companion, other than, I mean, off the top of my head, like Wilf would be, you know, up there in the same, like the Doctor's companions tend to be like 30 and under.
I was
Maybe 40 and under, because like Ian and Barbara were probably in their 30s, pushing 40, maybe, especially with Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she is totally in it to do what she needs, you know, do what needs to be done, you know, despite her being on the older side, you know. When again, before we find out that he's, you know, a traitor, Ludgate comes coming, you know, is talking to her, and she's like, you know, I got this weird feeling when I was over at the manor, and you know, I was just getting these weird vibes from Archibald Flint. And he's like, well, you know, Archibald goes down to the village about this time of day, and they think you're up here sleeping, so we could pop on over there and do some sneaking around. And she's like, break in. And he's like, well, yeah. And she's like, let's do it. I was like, yes, that's Evelyn that I've come to know and love. So, and then she gets captured, and she's like, okay, well, I've been in this predicament before. This is the time where I figure out a way to get out. And she does. She breaks a window to do it, but she manages it. So, you know, she's you know, I just I love Evelyn.
Me too.
But I mean, other than the bit where he and the brig go out to the Fugu at one point with the roll of copper wire, and then when the Doctor cobbles together his kind of weird crystal based radio psychic amplifier type thing, honestly, the Doctor really doesn't do a whole lot in this episode. In this story.
Not really.
It's really the brig and Evelyn who do most of the legwork. So which I think is good. I think I you know, the Doctor always tries to be the center of everything, because the Doctor always thinks they're the smartest person in the room, and more often than not that is the case. But I think Big Finish, when they were writing this one, recognized the history that the Doctor and the brig have, and know that the Brigadier, just regardless of what age he might be, knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And is willing, has initiative, and is willing to lead and follow, when it comes down to it, which I think is pretty awesome. I like that. Did anyone catch when we get the first scene with the Brigadier, and the older archaeologist, Professor Morgan, what he's asking the Brigadier to help him. He's like, I've got all this stuff that needs sorting and cataloging. And the Brigadier is all like, well, it's not really my expertise. I'm like, it's not really unit's expertise cataloging and dating things correctly.
No,
Right.
it's not.
Stuff, right?
I don't know if that was meant to be
Booking that.
a little nod and a wink to that, but that's how I took it.
Uh-huh. And if it wasn't, it was nicely slid in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's not gotten any, I don't know if it's really gotten any better since Kate took over, but definitely, I know Kate definitely has suffered the consequences of Unit's lack of dating protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Mhm.
Oh. But yeah, and I almost kind of, I like this one, but I think it's mostly just because of having the Doctor and the Brigadier together.
Yeah. I think
Because
definitely-
honestly, this story is just kind of meh.
and kind of predictable. Like remember the first time I listened to it, I kind of was guessing like who was like betraying them and all that. I kind of figured that out early on.
Mm-hmm.
Even the maid, the what was her name? Not the maid, but like the housekeeper. Like I had this
Oh
sneaky
yeah,
feeling about her.
the Mrs. Moynihan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, like they started to do this thing with Archibald with this whole
Mhm.
like Aleister Crowley thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it just kind of because
I feel like they tried to do like two stories, like with him and then with the alien dude,
the
what's his name?
aliens, yeah. The Treganians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's like ooh, Aleister Crowley, because like supposedly one of the most evil people ever in the history of humankind. Not to be confused with our Crowley from Good Omens, who is not. But he's not human either. So if we're talking human people named Crowley, then
We've got a few.
yeah. But in this case, because it's like, his story as a real historical figure is actually quite fascinating. Again, because I have this weird, not that weird, because I know I'm not the only one. I have this fascination with things like cults and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, this is right up my alley. But it's like, Flint is like motivated by like this weird idea that he's like part of the cult of Crowley. He thinks Crowley was a prophet and he's gonna take this power and use it to rule the world. But then when the alien shows up, Sangrita, he's like, oh, I've been waiting to meet you. Like, you never really indicated that you knew that there was someone to meet. And then Sangrita was all like, I'm not teaming up with a human being. You're dead. I want nothing to do with you. So that was kind of weird. Like the whole thing with Miss Moynihan, that makes more sense because we could hear that she was being like psychically manipulated by the alien. So it makes sense why she did what she did and gives the whole, reason why she went to Greece, because the British Isles traded with, Greece among other places back when that was a big thing, so it makes sense. And then like the whole like Flint thing gets literally tossed out almost, because he gets tossed into a hallway. So then we have this alien that's like, I've been trapped here for 18,000 years, and now I will have my revenge on my brother who left me behind. And then it turns out his brother's been dead the entire time, so he's pissed off for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you could have left like the whole Crowley thing aside and just had Flint be like also being psychically manipulated, because we know that he can do that even though he's physically trapped, and just have that been Flint's motivation. And I think that would have worked, and then still had the twist that this alien's so pissed off because he's been left, was trapped on Earth for almost 20,000 years, but it turns out he wasn't abandoned. His brother was dead. It also turns out he's dead because he's the one that killed him, which I don't know if that additional twist was necessary or not. They could have just been like, oh, there was a malfunction or something, and it explosion and that killed him or something. I don't know.
They could even like say something like maybe like a human did it. Well, no, because humans wouldn't have been alive back then, would they?
Yeah, no, that was back when there were dinosaurs, I think.
Maybe.
Well, actually, not dinosaurs, because we're only talking 18,000 years. So dinosaurs are millions of years ago. But he said something about big beasts, so it still would have had to been something. So.
Maybe like mammoths.
Yeah, could be saber-toothed tigers.
Yeah.
All right, Power Rangers.
Uh-huh.
Mastodon, saber-toothed tiger. Yeah, it seems like maybe they had like the inklings of a couple of ideas, but couldn't quite flesh them out completely into their own thing. So they're like, we'll just kind of mush this together. But again, this is really early days of Big Finish.
Yeah, it's episode 9.
Yeah, we can't fault them.
But it was 9, so it was like,
oh yeah, we can't really fault them a whole lot, because I mean, when it comes to script writing, like I said, it seems like they did a really good job of capturing the Brigadier.
Oh yeah,
the rapport that the Brigadier's had with the Doctor, regardless of incarnation. And I think that's the more important thing to the story. Just I think the kind of alien adventure is always takes a back seat to just having the Doctor and the Brigadier reunited, because that's such an important relationship in the history of Doctor Who. That it's like, the plot, the story, aliens, whatever. We just need a reason for the Brigadier to do what the Brigadier does. In this case, he's the one that saves the day at the very end.
Yep.
So I will not complain too much about the weird plot, because
no, the Brig.
It's the Brig. It's the Brig of the Doctor. So, meanwhile, he'll eventually he'll go back up to where Doris is staying with her parents, and she'll be like, "How was your trip, honey?" And he'll be like, "Oh, fine."
You'll never guess who I ran into, and you'll probably get it in what.
Yeah. So.
I like the whole comments about the hair bits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you had darker hair. Well, so did you.
Honestly.
And I'm like, yep, actually, second Doctor. Yes, he did.
But then in third Doctor, he was white hair.
Third Doctor did too. He traded the ruffles for a more technicolored look.
Yeah. Yeah, the
frilly cravats in the front
well,
of the.
I guess, yeah, I was like, considering this takes place between the continuity wise, pretty much all of this Doctor's adventures with Evelyn take place kind of during Trial of a Time Lord ish.
Right.
I can't remember when this.
Yeah,
this
pretty
was
much
supposed to take
everything
place.
with the Sixth Doctor and Evelyn is like I haven't listened to enough of the Big Finish to quite pinpoint down. Like it's somewhere. I don't know if it's either in between him getting separated from Perry before he gets pulled to the trial, or if it's post trial and for some reason Mel goes off somewhere else, or if it's in between Perry and Mel. I think it's in between Perry and Mel.
That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
But...
So, and then obviously before Time of the Ronnie, because that's where he generates into Sylvester McCoy. So, so definitely has to take place before that. But I was going to say at this point, the Doctor's volume of hair is going to match the Third Doctor's closer, even if the color is not the same. Because by the trial of the Time Lord,
he was.
The Sixth Doctor has quite a poof of hair. He and Peter Capaldi did so. I don't know if Peter Capaldi did that on purpose, where he's like, I would start my run with a short hairdo, and by the time I get done, I'm gonna have like this huge poof on my head.
The floof is strong with these two.
Yes. So it's like you can tell exactly where the Doctor's run you are based on the volume of hair, at least with those two Doctors.
Kind of like you can tell what season of Supernatural you're in based on Sam's hairstyle.
Yeah.
Man, theme. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah, so the Doctor's hair may be different color, but still a flamboyant dresser and full head of hair.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Nope, not at all. So, and if any of our listeners out there, unfortunately, I believe that's the only proper audio with the Sixth Doctor and the Brigadier. But there is a Sixth Doctor and Brigadier book out there that we did in the book club ages ago. So if you want to go back to that discussion, you can. It's
what book was it?
Foe in the Glass, I believe.
Or Demon in the Glass?
Demon in the Glass. Yeah, because I think I'm getting Faux Glass or that confused with Faux Glass and Harry Potter.
Shadow in the Glass.
Shadow in the Glass. There we go. All I know is it's the one with Hitler. Yeah, it's one we did in the book club ages ago. But yeah, it's the Sixth Doctor and the Brigadier face Hitler. So,
yep.
Which, if you remember from the 50th, when the TARDIS cannot get into the Black Archive and the Doctor calls Kate on that radio type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Its origin is in that book.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the doctor's like a gift to your father. It's like, I know where he gave you that is in that book.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
so, all right. Anything else regarding?
If you're looking for a good Brig story that's big finish, this is the one to go to.
Yeah, because there's the other one not as good from what I remember, unfortunately.
Yeah, man, you went and how it was all right, but from what I can remember when I listened to it,
Mhm.
I may have to go back and re-listen, and we'll see if my opinion changes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Greys, on the other hand, really good. Not
Mhm.
recommended if you're new to Big Finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. But it this I mean, like I said, the alien plot, not the important part. The important part is the Doctor and the Brigadier and Evelyn thrown into that
Yeah.
mix. She fits in
Yes.
perfectly. So
Mhm.
yeah. All right. Well, if any of our listeners want to give their 2 cents on their thoughts of this particular Big Finish story, or let us know, where do you fall, dimensions and time, canon or not?
Put out a poll on Facebook and see.
Yeah. So you can hit us up, you can send us feedback. Our email address is 5ishfangirls@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, which is the 5ishfangirls.com, where you can connect with all of our other social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, and the like, where you can also send us messages. There is also the link to the Goodreads book club. So if you do read Shadow on the Glass and want to go back to that discussion, you can. If you would like to financially support us, you could do that a few ways, including just giving us a straight up donation through coffee, or we also have our Patreon if you want to become a regular monetary supporter, or if you want some merch. We have our Redbubble shop, where we've got a good number of designs, including some new ones that have been added within the last month. And actually, I got my shirts the other day. I'm very excited to wear those at PopCon. So
Next week.
This
weekend.
This weekend, as we're recording this. So I've PopCon's 3 days. I only have 2 shirts. So I guess if you want to see said shirts, well, you got a 2 out of 3 chance that I'll be wearing one of the new shirts at PopCon. So what order I'm going to wear, I haven't decided yet. We shall see. But I have them and I'm very excited. So yeah, so Redbubble shirts, there you go. And of course, we appreciate your support, whether it's monetarily or just the thumbs up and shares and retweets and comments and that sort of thing. So we will be at it again next week. Hopefully PopCon doesn't completely Do we in?
Yeah, fingers
I'll
crossed.
come. I'm gonna come crawling of hell or high water after PopCon because we're finally talking Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of
Strange.
Madness next week. So be prepared.
Yes.
There's your spoiler warning. If you've not seen Doctor Strange yet, you need to because we're going full on spoilers next week.
Yes.
So, but in the meantime, if you are at PopCon, once I figure out where I'm going to be located, I will post on social media. So, I don't have a booth layout yet, so I don't know where I'm going to be exactly.
TBD.
Yes, TBD. So stay tuned to the social media. So of course the podcast awards, I will be there for those, which are this coming Friday night. So at the very least you can catch me at the podcast awards ceremony, which is in the schedule, which has a room location. So there you go. But I am looking forward to PopCon and seeing everyone and having fun, and should be a good time. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I do love me some PopCon. So all righty then. So with that, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany Bovdo saying goodnight.
This is Sally from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Remember, no goo, faux goo. You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at thefivishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/5ishfangirlspodcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official Five-ish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/5ishfangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/5ishfangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.